Hi, welcome back to Cedar Porch Homestead. I'm JR, and we're continuing a process that we started last year here in the garden. And what we try to do more than anything is absolutely have no waste. So what we're doing now that it's fall is we're taking all our tree droppings, as far as the leaves, the limbs, everything that the trees are shedding off this time of year, and we're putting those back in the garden. Now what we're using is a deep litter method or a back to Eden method here in the garden. And while we are still using raised beds, because our soil here is not great, as we improve that soil by using these composting materials, and I'll show you what that means like right now. Okay, so right here we haven't added any wood chips to this since last fall. So before we add any wood chips to it this year, you can see that all you have to do is dig down just a little bit and you see how much the wood chips are starting to break down. Now that's creating some great compost for our soil. But if I can get down to our native soil, you can see where that is starting to take on a lot of organic matter. There's a lot of life left to it. It's going to be almost ready to plant in this spring. So that's exciting, because let me show you what soil does here in the south that doesn't have this deep litter or these organic matters layered on top of it. So this soil is just right outside my garden, and you can't hardly dig in it. Now we've gotten a little bit of rain, so looks wet, and it's a little bit more easily pliable than it normally is. However, that is rock hard. As much as I'm digging into it, I can only get maybe an inch deep, and that is definitely not what we want to be planting in. Okay, before we get this machine fired up and start sending these branches through to get chipped, make sure that you're using eye protection and some hearing protection. We like to use the IsoTunes Pro Aware because we like to know what's going on around us while also listening to our favorite music or podcast. But let's get this machine fired up. Now with a whole lot of work, we weren't able to make a huge dent in adding a lot of wood chips or leaf litter to the garden. However, we were able to backfill one side of the garden pretty well that was kind of broken down way more than I wanted it to. So we were able to bring that up about 3 or 4 inches, and that's what my goal was today. Now there's a couple tips and tricks that you can use to get more wood chips at a quicker pace, and that is you can log on to a company called Chip Drop, and you can can just put your address, and when companies that are affiliated with that have a full load of wood chips, they can drop it off at your place. Now there's another option, and I've used this in the past, and that's to chase down these arborists or these guys that are clearing the right-of-ways and just beg for them to drop it at your place, and they are more than happy most of the time to dump those chips at your place. Now, as far as leaves go, you don't have to do all the work of raking leaves. Your neighbors, if you live in a neighborhood or you have friends in town, they will most likely do all the work for you and bag those leaves up and put them at the street like most people do. And what we've done in the past is we go and get a truckload of fresh raked leaves and throw them in the back of the truck, bring them back, and now we have our wood chipper that has the shredder or the leaf chipper in there as well, and we can shred those leaves that way. So that's a couple options that you have if you don't want to spend all the time in your own yard picking up sticks and raking leaves. You can always have someone else do the hard work for you. Now, if you like our content, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified when we come out with new content, and give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment below if you've used some of these methods in your own garden, or if you have any questions, please feel free to leave those below, and we'll see you on our next video.